Do you have a tendency to get jealous of people sometimes, maybe if they have what you want or they're doing what you want to do? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down jealousy a bit, kind of where it comes from, why we feel that way, and some things we can do and focus on to release it so that we can become the person we want to be and start doing the things we really want to do instead of getting frustrated when we see other people doing it. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a freedom and clarity coach. I just want to let you know I have a free energy clearing in the description below that you can download to help you kind of work through some of your internal stuff if you have, frustrations, jealousies, or whatever going on right now at the moment. Okay, so now let's begin. Jealousy is a tricky emotion. Jealousy and envy, they're very similar. They're tricky emotions and they're very, very painful. And there's many layers to this, and I'm not going to cover all of them in this video. I'm going to be covering them from a particular angle. But jealousy and envy are something that honestly I've struggled with for a large part of my life. I have had a tendency to, when I see other people doing what I want to do or having what I want to have, I've had to work very hard at being happy for them instead of getting a little bit frustrated. I've had a tendency most of my life to be like, fuck that person. Why do they get to have that? Why do they get the girl? Why do they get the success? I'm not even going to watch their shit or, talk to them or whatever. And this is obviously not a healthy energy to have. But as with anything, the more we judge it, the more we judge ourselves for it, the worse it gets. It doesn't do any good to be like, you shouldn't feel that way, or you're fucked up because you feel jealous. It doesn't do anything. What does work is to look at what are the parts of you or me that are feeling that way, and why do they feel that way, and what do they need? Like as I talk about a lot, and I will always talk about, when we look at those parts, those shadow parts of ourselves with love, that's when they begin to heal. And one of the most important things that I've realized, and I kind of realized this on my own, but I heard John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, really put this in an excellent way. We tend to be jealous of people that are doing things or that have things that we want that we also can have ourselves or do ourselves. That's why we're jealous, because some part of us is like, I could do that, or I could have that. Like, for example, I don't know who I'm talking to a lot of different people, but for me personally, I don't care that much about being a car mechanic. I think cars are cool. I like cars. It is something that I would like to learn one day, and I probably will, but it's never been, I was never the kid that was obsessed with cars and obsessed with engines and just wanted to learn everything about them and take them apart and put them back together. So when I see someone that's an amazing mechanic, I'm like, awesome. Good for you. I don't give a shit. I'm not jealous. I don't feel bad. I'm not like, why am I not a mechanic? Because I don't care. There's no part of me that really wants to be a mechanic, or not in any sort of deep and meaningful way. But when I see people that are really brilliant stand-up comedians, or very wise, or brilliant philosophers, or really good with words, or really good at any of the things that call to me, it's very easy for me to get frustrated and jealous. Why? Because I love those things. And that's something that I want to be really good at. And it's also something that I know deep down I have and can be good at. Maybe not as good as some other people or whatever. I don't need to compare too much. But that's where that comes from. Now, the trick to this is to understand that. It's to understand that if you feel very jealous about someone, particularly if they're doing something like purpose related with their life, the reason you probably feel that way is because it's in you to do that. And the more you start doing that, the less jealous you get. So now I'm going to give you three things that you need to do to stop being jealous, or at least to mitigate it. Okay, so 1, realize you can have what they have. So this is something I've heard to do. When you see somebody that has what you want, instead of going into the, fuck them, those dumb motherfuckers, they're so lucky, they're so privileged, how do they, and going into the resentment, the blame, the victim mentality, say something to the extent of, that's for me. I can have that too. And also realize, like I said, the reason you feel bad that you don't have it is because you can have it. And what you need is to know that you can have it. What you need is to know that the reason you're jealous is because there's something in you that can do that. And when you begin to embody this energy and you shift these perceptions, you might still be a little frustrated, but it gets you unstuck from that jealousy, envy knot. And it starts moving you toward like the belief that it's possible for you. Because when you think it's not possible, that's where the brakes really get kind of put on in your momentum and you get stuck. At least most of the time. I mean, sometimes we do have to accept our lot in life. Sometimes, it's like no matter how hard you work, you're not going to be an Olympic gold medalist. But there's usually something in you that can do some of what the person that you're envious of is doing, or there's a misunderstanding as far as to what your exact calling is, and there's a similarity. So it's like, yes, sometimes there are going to be some things and some people that are like, well, I can't, run a 3-minute mile. I get it. But there's more that you can do than you're realizing. The number 2 thing you need to do is to look at the doubt around you being able to have it. Because there are going to be parts of you that don't feel worthy of it, that don't feel deserving of it, or that were told somewhere along the line that you can't do that, or you can't do something. Somewhere in your childhood, you weren't allowed to have the things that you wanted. You were put down, maybe you wanted to be a singer. And, your parents didn't support you being a singer and they always told you that you couldn't be a singer. Or maybe, you were taking a music class and you got up and you sang one day and the music instructor told you sucked. So where did the doubt come from? Where did those beliefs originate from? And just also know that if you were told you can't do it, that doesn't mean you can't do it. A lot of times that's simply a test from the universe to see how much you want it. Because the more you believe you can do it, the more you can do it. And there are 8 trillion examples of some of the most successful people in the world who were told that they couldn't do what they wanted to do. I mean, Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Danny Elfman was told that he had no musical capability whatsoever. There are endless lists of stories. I actually knew the guy who told Fiona Apple that she couldn't sing at all. So there are so many examples. So look for the doubt and understand that if you were told that you couldn't, that might just mean that that's what you're supposed to do. If it calls to you and you want to do it, that's the sign. And the third thing that you can do is look at what you're not doing. Look at what you're not doing that the people who have what you want are doing. Because a lot of times what we do is we get so jealous because we're actually afraid to take the steps that they're taking. So they're taking the steps to do what we want to do and they're being successful at it. And we're either not doing it at all or we're not all in with it. And then we get really, really angry at ourselves for our fear, but we project that onto the people instead. And we blame them because it's easier to just be like, fuck you, I'm a victim. The universe won't give me what I want. I can't get out of this knot. It's like my life sucks. That person has everything. I'm going to quit. But that's just the perpetuation of the fear of not stepping into our power. Because the scariest thing for some reason for every human being basically to do is the thing that they want to do most. The darker the shadow, the brighter the light. The darker the night, the brighter the star. It's like the more something calls to us, the more we want to do it, the more there's fear. In the cave of your greatest fear lies your greatest gift, or whatever the Joseph Campbell saying is. I just totally butchered it, but that's the essence of it. Follow the fear and the jealousy to what you're meant to do. And one of the things that I have found is the more that I do what it is that I want to do, and I just focus on me, and I feel good about myself for doing it, the less jealous I am. Because I'm not mad at myself anymore for not doing or not being able to do what I want to do. And it was important for me also to understand that a lot of my path wasn't about just avoiding doing what I wanted to do. I had this whole healing process, and my higher self had a whole like track for me to be on, and I just wasn't yet in the expression of it. But this is very key. As you start to take the steps toward what you want and you start to do what you really feel called to do, the jealousy just begins to melt away. It really does. Anyway, let me know what you think of that. Let me know if you have any revelations or breakthroughs. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I look very forward to next time, and peace.